I worry about his opinion on the Fourth Amendment.
U.S. Senator Rand Paul says his hesitation on Brett Kavanaugh comes from a legal opinion the Supreme Court nominee wrote. On the National Security Agency's warrantless collection of phone data, Kavanaugh wrote that critical national security need outweighs the impact on privacy.
I'm worried about people who tell me government should be allowed to do anything for national security purposes, because then it means they're going to read your visa statement, your bank statement.
Paul says he'll meet with Kavanaugh this week or next, then make up his mind on how he'll vote. Kentucky's junior senator also touched on tariffs and the economy.
I think there's nothing holding us back short of maybe a trade war. But, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but I do worry about that. But I would say right now, if I were to compare the threat of a trade war with what we've done on the tax front, what we've done on the tax front is enormous.
He spoke about President Donald Trump's meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Most nations who have the ability to interfere in elections do. We should protect ourselves, which means making sure our electoral process is protected from any outsiders, whether it's Russia or China or any country.
And he told reporters he would not return donations from Papa John's founder, John Schnatter.
I think that the language that is said to be used is unacceptable and should not be used, period.
Now, I asked Paul if there was anything Kavanaugh could say when the two meet to sway him one way or the other. Paul didn't really name anything specific, but he did say that he's trying to be open-minded. Mark Vanderhoff, WLKY News.